The Trump administration's approach to trade has been anything but conventional. It has been marked by unpredictability and a departure from traditional norms. This has left many observers, including seasoned diplomats and trade experts, puzzled and uncertain about the administration's ultimate objectives. The lack of a clearly articulated and consistent strategy has generated confusion among America's trading partners. Adding to this confusion is the administration's tendency to employ aggressive rhetoric and threats of unilateral action. This approach has strained relationships with long-standing allies and fueled uncertainty in the global trading system. The lack of clarity and consistency in U.S. trade policy has created a climate of apprehension. This confusion is further compounded by the selective nature of the administration's engagement in trade negotiations. While prioritizing deals with certain countries, the administration has simultaneously engaged in trade disputes with others. This selective approach has further muddied the waters of U.S. trade policy, making it difficult for other nations to discern a coherent strategy. The absence of a clear and predictable trade policy from the United States, a cornerstone of the global trading system, has left a void. This void has been filled with uncertainty and apprehension as nations around the world grapple with the implications of the Trump administration's unconventional approach to trade. The Trump administration's approach to trade negotiations has been characterized by a distinct pattern of selective engagement. Certain countries, deemed strategically important or aligned with the administration's objectives, have been prioritized in bilateral trade talks. This selective approach has raised concerns about favoritism and a departure from the principles of free and fair trade. Vietnam, a rapidly growing economy in Southeast Asia, has emerged as a key focus of the administration's trade efforts. The administration views Vietnam as a potential alternative to China for manufacturing and assembly operations. Japan, a long-standing U.S. ally in the Asia-Pacific region, has also been engaged in bilateral trade talks aimed at addressing the U.S. trade deficit. South Korea, another important U.S. ally in the region, has faced pressure from the administration to renegotiate the terms of their bilateral trade agreement. India, with its vast and growing market, has also been a target of the administration's efforts to secure more favorable trade terms for U.S. goods and services. This selective engagement, while driven by specific strategic and economic considerations, has raised concerns about the erosion of the rules-based trading system. By prioritizing bilateral deals and employing pressure tactics, the administration risks undermining the multilateral framework that has underpinned global trade for decades. While the Trump administration has selectively engaged with certain trading partners, it has simultaneously sidelined others, creating a stark contrast in its approach. Major economies, including the European Union, China, Canada, and Mexico, have found themselves at odds with the administration on trade. This sidelining of key trading partners has significant implications for the global economy. The European Union, a bloc of 27 countries with a combined GDP rivaling that of the United States, has been embroiled in a tit-for-tat tariff dispute with the administration. China, the world's second-largest economy, has been a primary target of the administration's efforts to rebalance trade. The ensuing trade war between the two economic giants has sent shockwaves through global markets. Canada and Mexico, neighbors and close trading partners of the United States, have also faced the brunt of the administration's protectionist policies. The renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement, now known as the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, was marked by contentious negotiations and threats of withdrawal. This sidelining of major economies has cast a shadow over the global trading system. The uncertainty and instability generated by these trade disputes have dampened business investment and threatened global economic growth. The Trump administration's use of tariffs as a negotiating tool has been a defining feature of its trade policy. Tariffs, taxes imposed on imported goods, have been deployed on a scale not seen in decades. This aggressive use of tariffs has raised prices for consumers and businesses, disrupted supply chains, and fueled uncertainty in the global economy. The administration argues that tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. They view tariffs as leverage to force other countries to make concessions and open up their markets to U.S. goods and services. However, Critics argue that tariffs are a blunt instrument that often harm the very economies they are intended to protect. The imposition of tariffs has triggered retaliatory measures from trading partners, leading to a spiral of escalating tariffs. This tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs has harmed businesses and consumers on both sides of the Pacific. The World Trade Organization, the international body that governs global trade, has been sidelined in these disputes, further undermining the rules-based trading system. The use of tariffs as a primary negotiating tool has created a climate of uncertainty and instability in the global economy. Businesses are hesitant to make long-term investment decisions, and consumers are facing higher prices for everyday goods. This uncertainty is weighing on global economic growth and threatening to unravel the progress made in global trade liberalization over decades.